Timothy Quill on the Fishbowl. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. Finally, we get you on the show.
All right, glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Now, almost a year ago, I guess now, we had Danny Hicks on the show, and
My
that
buddy Danny,
yeah,
yeah.
your buddy Danny. That was a great interview. Danny and me have been keeping in touch, and I'm just glad to have yet another cast member of Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead franchise on the show.
Oh, absolutely, thank you. I
well,
think, yeah, actually, a year ago, we just finished shooting that movie, Elder Island, in Michigan. And Danny Hicks and I, we crushed it. We had just two great characters we were able to just go nuts on. And I just got back from the premiere in Detroit, and it went over. I mean, stars and stripes. It was incredible. And then they had a film festival in Michigan that following weekend, and we got best film at the Motor City Nightmares. So it did very well. I can't wait for it to come out for everybody. Called
awesome,
Elder Island.
awesome! Congratulations.
Well,
I
thank you very
definitely
much.
it's on the list to check out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll get you a viewing copy of that.
Oh, awesome! Fantastic! Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, awesome.
Well, I
Danny,
usually start to ask my interviewees. The
all right.
first question I usually like to do is, what got you interested in film?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. It was over 40 years ago because it just had my 40th class reunion in Birmingham, Michigan, and I moved into this high school district in Birmingham. And my first day on campus as a sophomore, I run into these goofy group of guys that were so into the Stooges, and classmates of mine by the name of Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, Scott Spiegel. And we started making little 8 millimeter movies, poking each other in the eyes, and that's where it started. We started making films in the mid '70s back in Michigan, and that's what I started with, and that's what got me into the film industry, really. So it goes back quite a way. There's quite a history with those clowns. And look at it, 45 years later, we're still doing the same crap.
And I have to say, I am loving every bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, in fact, I just talked to Danny Hicks. I guess he's going up to Billings, Montana for a horror festival this coming week. That'll be interesting.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, like Bruce, the Raimis. Um, I would probably put Sam Raimi as a director definitely
Yeah.
in my top five favorite of all time. I really think Sam is, uh, notice the two Sams. I
Yeah.
really think Sam is really underrated as talented of a director as he is and a storyteller. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, the Evil Dead movies are, just directed so well, and as well as every other film that he does. I mean, he really puts 110% effort into all of his films and the directorial vision and just those zoom in shots, those quick zoom ins on Bruce's you know 12 gauge double barrel Remington, and everything else that he does in his films are just so awesomely done that I really take notice to certain directing styles, and Sam just has like such a unique style that he brings to all of his films. It's just really great to watch.
Well, and I tend to agree with you, and I'll tell you what I noticed. And this is back in the early '70s. There was this guy that was doing our camera. He was our DP, and he basically was there for the whole evolution of film from 8 millimeter. We started with 8 millimeter and a cassette recorder. And this guy, that he's a great director, but what he was doing is he is the camera. That's the unique thing. I remember shooting in a grocery store and we needed to make the dolly shot. So what did they do? Bam, we get a grocery cart. Sam jumps in the grocery cart and we start pushing him around and doing dolly shots in the early 70s. And Sam, he's a director, all right, but he's also the camera. He is that camera. And I noticed that talent way early. I mean, we did a couple of movies. Bruce Campbell played Jimmy Hoffa. In fact, we started filming the Jimmy Hoffa story 1 week after Jimmy Hoffa was abducted. He was abducted from a restaurant that's about a mile from my mom's house, from all of our homes. And we were out there. The FBI was had yellow tape on the outside of the Marcus Red Fox. They were still doing fingerprints in the booth where Jimmy was supposedly abducted from. And there were FBI agents all over. And, the yellow tape means you stay away. And all of a sudden, these FBI agents come outside and they see all these clowns, these kids in their dad's striped suits, acting like gangsters. And that was us shooting Jimmy Hoffa's story 1 week after he was abducted. And they even allowed us to remove the tape so it wouldn't be in our camera shots. And I knew, I said, I've run into some pretty strange guys. I think I'm going to do this for a while. But Sam, his magnificence is he metamorphosized. I mean, he grew up, he evolved through the camera, through the film industry from day one. He went from 8 millimeter up to where he is today. So instead of studying at school and learning this process or learning this from a film school, he basically ate and fed himself through the whole metamorphosis of the film industry. He learned from day one. And that's one of the secrets of Sam is he evolved. He evolved from day one. He went through the whole system. He understands completely. He understands his characters. He understands the people he worked with. And if you watch, it's usually cast that way too. He does very well. And Sam, I tend to agree with you, but when my first association with Sam, he's a very, very funny guy. Jerry Lewis, physical comedy. I know we give credit to Sam for Bruce Campbell, but Sam Raimi, he was that guy. But after a while, I kind of realized, I said, man, this guy's going to be something special because he not only is a director, he is the camera. And that's the first thing I noticed about him. So we shot 2 Jimmy Hoffa stories and James Bombed, the early films we did back in high school. We started off by throwing pies and poking each other in the fingers, and we actually didn't start killing each other until we were in college. And then, of course, the rest is history with Evil Dead.
Absolutely. And by the way, I am truly excited for the premiere of Ash versus Evil Dead Season 2 tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're going to see somebody familiar in this season.
Yes, I already saw the trailers. I know for sure we get Ted.
Ted's there, and you're going to see Helen Sandel. I hope I'm not giving anything away, but the word's out because I know they brought her in last season. So I'm looking forward to it myself.
Awesome. Now, I asked Danny this question about a year back when they were still doing production or post-production on season 1 of that show. And I'm going to ask you basically the same question now that, it's the season 2 of Ash has been renewed, and we're probably most likely going to be getting a season 3.
Absolutely.
Is there any chance of Sam bringing back anyone else from the original, Evil Dead team? That's including Danny and yourself. I tell you what, if I'm asked, I will go in a second. I had my fingers crossed so hard they're starting to turn white. But if they called, I would come running. There's no doubt. And Danny and I have talked about that ourselves. We would love to. But, it's Stars Network, and it is what it is. Right.
So I'm in a different situation because I was part of the Army of Darkness crew. Okay, I mean, all the pre-Evil Dead, of course, I was involved in a lot of that within the woods and other things we did as kids. But Army of Darkness is a different situation. So my character is the blacksmith, if you want
Right.
to use that as the character. There's a the problem there is Universal owns that property. They own Army of Darkness. See, Sam owns Evil Dead. Sam and Bruce and Rob own Evil Dead. They own Evil Dead too. But when it comes to Army of Darkness, any reference to that is kind of touchy-feely area because it is a property owned by Universal. But that doesn't mean it couldn't bring us in as other characters. But I'll tell you what, if I got the phone call, I'd come running. I'd come running to New Zealand and with my suntan lotion in hand. Yes.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
if we got called, and I hope so, I really do hope Danny gets on, and I can't see why, because there'd be great characters. You imagine, like the long lost brother of Jake, or maybe even Jake himself. I think that would be really neat. But we'll
Right.
keep our fingers crossed. But I can tell you, if that phone rings, we'll come running. I'll tell you that much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I am truly excited for the premiere tomorrow night, and I'm going to try and get the interview we're doing right now posted within the month of October. So it's at least
Oh,
in
cool.
some relation to Ash versus Evil Dead Season 2 airing tomorrow night. Um,
Yes.
but uh, I guess since we're on the topic of Evil Dead and Sam Raimi, I have a whole list of questions about
Sure.
the various films that you worked on with Sam and the whole Raimi and Bruce Campbell team. The
Okay.
first is being Evil Dead in the fashion of Ash premiering tomorrow night. Let's talk about Army of Darkness. Um,
Okay.
the film I was actually aware because I saw the document or behind the scenes on Ash versus Evil Dead season one about Universal's about Sam Raimi saying that Universal does still own the rights to Army of Darkness, and I have to say it goes to show more credit to Sam because writing a show based around the fact that um, they're acting as if Army of Darkness happened, but they just don't reference it.
Yeah, that's a touchy area. Like if you would use some of the main characters or,
Right.
the references to S Smart and what have you, it's a very touchy situation. And not so much that they probably would give their blessing to Sam, but you get to a certain point, you're probably bringing in another partner. And I
Right.
know,
Exactly.
and that's a touchy area. That part, you see, I'm still from the stupid side of the camera. So that part I don't understand, but I can see it. And if I had to, I would swing my little character a little bit to make it fit.
Right. Now, Army of Darkness is I would. It's really hard to pick like which Evil Dead movie is my favorite because I really like them all individually for different reasons.
Okay.
But Army of Darkness is probably my favorite as like the comedic side of Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi in that specific entry into the franchise. Um,
Okay.
but having Bruce's one-liners, all throughout that film, and the hilarious, theatrics and antics that were going on there. Um, and any like funny stories you could tell that were behind the scenes stuff from the shoot of Army of Darkness.
Oh, absolutely. There was a lot of really neat things. Because I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, obviously it had a budget. Dino De Laurentiis basically let Sam run. He said, "Do your movie you always wanted to do, Sam." And Sam goes, "You bet I will." And it's going to be campy. Because let's face it, that's starting to come back around now. This
Oh yeah.
slap head rolling off. Camp is going to be back in because it takes genius to write comedy. Comedy is the hardest thing to write.
Oh yeah,
And
I
probably,
definitely agree.
straight out horror is a little bit easier adventure. So seeing as they have the writers, and let's face it, Sam can shoot anything, he would have passion for. But he was able to, Dean Lawrence basically told me, here's the money, boy. Remember your lines and don't run into the furniture. And so he went ahead and he was able to do his camp. And if you see, there's two parts I do remember well. I remember, there's a budget situation, and at the end, and Sam all of a sudden came back and talked to the principals, and he goes, you know what? We're just going to do a comedy. And the very next scene they shot was when Bruce was getting poked in the eyes, poke, poke in the eyes by the skeletons, and it completely went over the top. And it was, so Three Stoogey. It was lovely. We were having so much fun because Sam was able to flex his muscles the way he wanted to. Because let's face it, he's a genius writer on top of everything else we've talked about. And him and Ivan, his brother Ivan, came up with a script that was awesome. But I'll remember this because Sam was concerned about the characters. So there was a scene where where I get my one line. Sam, Bruce goes, all right, who's with me? And if you look, everyone's cowards and they're looking at the ground. And finally, that's when I step up and deliver my line. I'll stand by you. Then all of a sudden, Ted goes, you can count on my steel. And then Sam goes, cut, 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 cut. And we're all going, what's going on? This is rolling so well. And Sam comes off of his crane. He goes, Ted, wait a minute. About 2 seconds ago, you were crying like a baby, going, I don't want to die. I'm afraid. And now all of a sudden, you're one of the biggest heroes in the movie. He goes, you go back to wardrobe and makeup and change. So he actually played a different character because he got brave too soon. And I'll never forget that. Sam goes, you were a coward 2 seconds ago. Go to makeup and wardrobe. But there's two things that Sam, part of his entertainment is he tortures us. Okay? We're his little buddies from when we were kids. And if you did that to a normal actor today, they'd probably run away saying, I'll never work in this town again. So he's got to kind of watch how he plays with people, but he loves playing with us because that's part of his entertainment. And so when I delivered my line, I go, I'll stand by you. Well, that's an Irish brogue. That's not 1366 England. That was an Irish brogue. Then Sam just cocks his head to the side and he goes, you know what? I'm going to keep it. And he told me because he's going to torture me for the next 30 years when I watch this movie because I'll always see myself doing an Irish brogue for the next 30 years. And then Ted, the very next scene, he goes, you can count on my steel. And if you look, he's holding a wooden torch.
Right.
And so I think that was Sam's way of torturing both of us for the next 30 years of our life. But I have to tell you, it was one of the most enjoyable shoots I've ever been on. And, just like Sam, he's very loyal. Trust me, when there's something, a good project, that phone rings. It's been that way for 30 years. And Bruce is the same way, and the whole group. So that's why, we don't come bugging, hey, you got a project going on. If there's something for you, that phone rings. And that's something I'll always remember. I love that guy. I can, thank him for the career that I've had. And actually, I've been working more lately than I have in the last 20 years. Starting to look like that old curmudgeon, I guess. But we cross paths every once in a while. I look forward to always seeing those guys whenever there's one of those conventions or horror conventions or what have you, film festivals. But we tend to hook up as often as we can. These days with everybody busy and doing what they're doing, it's tough.
Right.
But I can assure you, like when there's a holiday or somebody's birthday or a big day, they gather up the troops and we usually get together. So, those are guys that I can't say enough nice things about them. That's why till the day I die, I hope to work with those guys. It goes back quite a few years. A lot of people don't realize that, but it goes back about 45 years. That's when I started working with those guys.
Wow. I have to say, it's like, you're absolutely right. Sam is not only just, an amazing filmmaker, he's an amazing writer and storyteller.
Absolutely.
And it's like I just graduated this past April here in Pittsburgh at Point Park University for screenwriting, and there's
Well,
been
congratulations.
thank you. There's been a few major writer directors that have had major impact on my own work, and I have to say the definitely the like four big ones are what the late great Wes Craven, John Carpenter, Clive Barker, and absolutely 110% Sam Raimi. Um,
Yeah.
Sam's work. I mean, he's done everything from like basically inventing the horror comedy in a sense with the Evil Dead
Absolutely.
franchise, and then he's gone on to do what is actually one of my favorite '90s westerns, which is another film that we can talk about that you had a part in, which was The Quick and the Dead,
Yeah.
and has gone on to do dramas, fantasy films. Action films, and another film series that you had a part in is the Spider-Man films. And
Oh yeah.
I have to say, um, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films are really where it's at. I
Oh, that
like
and Spider-Man 2 was phenomenal.
Spider-Man
What
2
do you
was
do?
phenomenal.
Oh,
Everybody kind of hates me for this because I always say that I really like part 3. And that's apparently everybody has a beef with Spider-Man 3. And, I say, hold up a sec, guys.
right.
One, Spider-Man 3, you got Venom, and while, people may be disappointed with the fact that Topher Grace played Venom, I was happy with it because Venom and Carnage are probably like my two favorite Spider-Man characters, and
Okay.
Bruce Campbell got his longest cameo in the movie, which was probably the funniest scene out of any of the Spider-Man movies, with Bruce making his cameo along with the rest of the original Sam Raimi team.
Right.
I thought it was hysterical as Bruce, being the French waiter, and that whole bit. And I will watch that film as many times as it's on. In fact, they've been playing it recently on the movie channels, and I watch it every time because I'm like, you know, Sam Raimi knew what he was doing. I mean, while Spider-Man 2 may be, the best out of them all, I really enjoy every film that he does.
Yeah. I tend to too. And the neat thing was, I remember that Bruce goes, these may not be big, magnificent parts to me. He goes, we have. He said, but they're very. Oh, I can't remember the word Bruce used, but he goes, these are pretty important roles you and I have. He goes, first of all, he goes, maybe it was a small one-liner in the hall, but it had Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker, listen to you, Uncle Ben would still be alive. I'm going, oh, okay. And he goes, and me. He goes, pivotal. He called them pivotal roles. I laugh. That sounds so magnificent. He goes, when I was the arena, when he was the arena announcer, he goes, I'm the one that actually named Spider-Man. I go, you're right. That name sucks, kid. And Bruce
Right.
goes, ladies and gentlemen, amazing Spider-Man. He got to name him, and he's the only one that really defeated Spider-Man, because remember, he denied him entrance into the theater. So
Right.
Bruce was
Right.
all proud of that. Those are the little things that keep us going.
Exactly. Well, I would like to talk about your experience on The Quick and the Dead. Um,
Okay.
that was a pretty star-studded cast, and
Oh, 5 Academy Award people. Yeah,
yeah,
incredible.
and it's such a masterfully well directed film. Again, Sam, it's like you said, he is the camera,
Correct.
and that storyline. Because like I'm a huge movie buff, but I have a soft spot in my heart for westerns. I love
Yeah,
westerns because we just don't do enough of them anymore, and the westerns of the late 80s into the 90s and the ones that they're doing now have really, really great story development and character development compared to like the westerns of um, the spaghetti western era and
right.
prior to that. And I can't help but love The Quick and the Dead because the story of Sharon Stone's character who is dealing with the sins of her past to return to the town that she left over. I'm not gonna ruin it for anybody
Right.
who hasn't seen it, but over the incident that caused her to leave, and all for redemption and and revenge in a sense as well too, and
Yeah.
you know the the Wild West fashion of like the high noon kind of duels was just the theme of that movie, and you had DiCaprio, you had Gene Hackman, young
Gary
Russell
Sinise.
Crowe, Gary Sinise,
Oh, yeah.
Lance
Lance
Hendrickson.
Hendrickson. I
Uh,
mean, on and on. Yeah.
yeah, and I was wondering if you had any cool experiences on that film, or possibly with any of the other actors that were on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, it was lovely because I got a chance to go, spend a few, a week or two down in, I think we shot south of Tucson or wherever that was. Sam actually built a city. And the reason he wanted to is he wanted to blow it up at the end. But it was in the middle of nowhere and he built the city. And it was really, I mean, it was a cool film. But I remember one of the issues he had is Sam must, ever since we were kids, his parents gave him that, that Olds 88, that's 1973 Olds 88 he uses in all of his cars. And, and Sam he tries to use it in every movie that he has. And there's some people questioning me, going, wait a minute. There's no such thing as a car back in the 1890s or whatever, Quick and the Dead would be those dates, the end of the Wild Wild West. And they go, oh, no, no, no. I take exception to that. That Oldsmobile was in Quick and the Dead. They're going, how? I said, Sam had the carpenter guys take his car and turn it into a covered wagon. And if you look in the background in one of the shots, you see a covered wagon. Well, inside that covered wagon was his Oldsmobile. So he got it done. But the phenomenal thing is when we rolled up for Danny Hicks and I drove on a lot for, I think it was Spider-Man 2. I got there late and the lady said, well, you're going to have to park downstairs in the parking lot. So I went down there, and as I rolled by, there were 7 mint condition Oldsmobiles side by side in the basement at Sony. And I'm going, what the heck is this? And Sony went ahead and built, they called them stunt cars. They were exact mint condition Oldsmobiles. So there was quite a few of those that have been around, trust me. And I think the studio did it. But an amazing thing, let's get back to Quick and the Dead. I remember this because we talked about casting. And there was a concern because, the kid played by Leo. I remember Sharon Stone and Sam went to the studio and said, listen, this part has to be played by this new upcoming kid. He's going to be a giant someday. And the studio really didn't want to pay the fee. And so Sam and Sharon stood up and said, well, what's it going to take to bring him on? Because they're within a couple of $100,000 of what his age. I don't understand that part of the story. But I remember Sharon Stone and Sam Raimi took basically checkbooks out of their own pockets, said, whatever, we'll make up the difference. And the studio goes, boy, you must really want this kid on your movie. Because they knew at that time, this guy's going to be a giant. And he's going to do a great role. And he did. He did a phenomenal role in this playing the kid. But I remember they stood up and they took it out of their own pocket to bring Leo onto that picture. That shows you what kind of team Sam builds. Because I'll tell you what, at the time, I love Sharon Stone, but she was a little difficult to work with, probably, like some of those stars would be. And somehow Sam just turns it into a family. And here they're both pulling out money out of their own pocket to make sure they got the proper cast. I dig that story because that's the type of guy Sam was. Because he goes, if we're going to do it, we're doing it right. And, that's something I remember from that picture because that's when all of a sudden that cast became a family.
That's awesome, because
Yeah.
I've heard stories about Sam, just being a really really down to earth, nice,
Yeah.
funny guy, and talking with Danny and only confirms it,
Right.
and it's just really great to hear that there's directors and storytellers out there that will still go out of their way to even take a paycheck loss to tell their
Yeah.
story right. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm currently working on a script that's kind of like a rock and roll haunted highway film, and basically, I would be totally okay giving away, a huge percentage of the profits to be able to use the certain music that I want in the film that I'm currently writing, because it would be more important to me to tell that story the right way, with the theme of what it's about than collecting the overall income on selling it.
Oh, Joe LaDuca.
Yeah,
That's just a name.
right, right.
That guy's a genius. Oh, whoa.
But
Uh,
it's
oh,
just
good for
great.
you.
Yeah, it's just I really feel that to tell a story right, you know um it should matter. It should matter about telling the story right. Not about the funding for it. If you have to take a paycheck cut, to tell the story that you want to tell, in the way that you want to tell it, it'll have a more drastic impact in the long run, um, as can be seen from a number of Sam's films as well as other directors, and it has a more everlasting impact on the audience and audiences to come.
No,
And
no, I agree with you 100%. In fact, financially wise, a good way of saying it is sometimes you got to take a step backwards before you can take those 3 steps forward.
yeah,
And
exactly.
if people thought that way, there'd be a lot more longevity in people's careers. No, I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, awesome. It's just
Yeah.
it's part of storytelling, and I feel like we've
Yep.
kind of gotten away from uh, wanting to tell like proper stories, and have been more focused on the cash income aspect of it. What can we make money on versus what stories can we tell?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. Let the studios worry about that junk.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Right. Well, if there's any way I can help, you just let me know. Because I
Absolutely.
like I like the cut of your jib. That's exactly what I believe for
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you very much. I would
Absolutely.
love to try and get either Ted or even Sam or Bruce on the show at a later point. I know those guys may be a little higher status, to reach at this point. But I'm a huge fan of all those guys. I always actually like to tell the story about how my first experience meeting Bruce Campbell, and it just kind of shows like what this guy, who this guy really is,
Yeah.
because Bruce Campbell was actually the first quote unquote celebrity I ever met, and he was promoting his book, "Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way," and
Oh yeah.
the man with the screaming brains. And
Okay.
they had an event at a small theater in an area of Pittsburgh called Oakmont, and the theater's
Oh
called
okay.
the Oaks Theater. And I bought the book, which at this specific library, specific bookstore, which is no longer there. But when you bought it there, you got a free ticket to go to the event. And the ticket that I got, it was like an alphabetical order. and my ticket was basically the letter A. So I'm there early enough. There's like a line out the door. The usher comes out and says, we're sorry, but Mr. Campbell is not going to be doing any autographs or photo ops or anything. And people had, memorabilia, merchandise, all sorts of stuff. They were ready to get autographed. You're like, what the fuck, basically?
Yeah.
And
nowadays, it's so many people that.
Right.
Oh my God, it's incredible. He's become huge.
And 5 minutes later, less than 5 minutes later, the usher comes back out and he's like, I'm sorry for that comment. Mr. Campbell is going to be doing all of that. So
Nice.
it was great. I got to meet Bruce, and I remember walking down this long hallway and seeing Bruce, standing sitting down at the end at one of those, fold out tables. And I was like trembling in a sense because I wasn't even like out of high school, and I'd never been to any conventions yet. And this is like my hero at the time. And I like go out to like shake his hand, and like he sees that like I'm kind of like trembling in a sense, and he stands up, gets out from behind the table, and says, "No, no, no. Shaking hands is for politicians. We give hugs around here." And Bruce Campbell gave me the biggest bear hug, and it was like the most gratifying experience of my life, to one of the most gratifying experiences of my life, because I met, a ton of other celebrities since. But Bruce, always has a soft spot in my heart because he was the first, in a sense, celebrity that I met, and it was such an awesome experience. And I got to hear about how the Evil Dead movies were, highly inspired by the Three Stooges and the Marx Brothers, and
Jerry Lewis, yes,
the slapstick comedy. And when I watched the premiere of Ash versus Evil Dead, the very first episode, that bit where he's in the convenience store and he drops all the light bulbs, and then he like steps on it. I mean, I'm like, this is like, thank God, the Raimis and Bruce Campbell and Timothy Quill and Danny Hicks and the original Raimi team are still exhibiting aspects of a style of comedy that's pretty much become extinct in a sense, but there's still remnants of it, being seen through Bruce and Sam's work. It's great to see.
Yes, I agree. And I'm glad he's holding on to that. That we see a lot more of it, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it in Ash versus Evil Dead. And you will see second season is going to be very satisfying for the true Evil Dead fan. Absolutely.
I'm very excited to check it out. I got it already set in my DVR. I'm gonna watch the premiere tomorrow night, and I have to say I like that Stars has it start at 8, so that it doesn't interfere with HBO's Westworld, which I'm also really excited for. But if it came down to it, and it was Ash versus Evil Dead at 9 and Westworld at 9, I'll be honest, Ash is winning that fight every Sunday.
Okay. Well, they did good by you then. All right.
Right.
Glad to hear it. Fantastic.
Well, we are at about 40 minutes here, and there's a few more questions we could get to, or we could do it at a later point. I'd definitely love to do a follow-up interview.
Absolutely.
But why don't we stop it here, and I'll give you my 2 closing questions. Number 1, what are some of your favorite films? And number 2 would be, do you have anything up and coming that you'd like to promote?
Yeah, so there's a couple, in fact, because I'm trying to work on a new TV show. Is a horror host for showing horror movies to kids.
Awesome.
Like when we started shooting, but instead of doing all cookie cutter jokes and little cutesy, cartoons and all that, I'm gonna fill in the filler time showing film secrets, like how do they make blood, hero syrup? How do they cut an arm off and blood spurts? So we're going to show a lot of cinema secrets, but it's going to be for the kids that are more into making film. That's more serious genre, and it's called Count Ghastly's Cinema Crypt. I've already shot a couple of episodes, and that's one of the projects I'm working on. And then I'm heading down to Colombia for back-to-back pictures in the next couple of months. We're doing a movie called Them, and then Demon Hunters. So it's going to be a pretty action-packed 2017, I hope. That's what I'm
Awesome.
on to know. Yeah.
Awesome. And what are some of your favorite films?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what, because I'm Jerry Lewis background and all the physical comedy, but I got to be honest with you on this one. One of my pictures for the rest of my life, because he was such a physical comedian genius, Jerry Lewis, the Nutty Professor, and it's a mad, 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 mad world because it would cost you $1 billion to make that movie today. And
That's
I'm
the
kind of
truth.
working on a script that is a cross between the Truman Story and it's a mad, 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 mad world. And it's sort of like a Sam Raimi character, the man behind the man behind the curtain, and he has
Yes.
cameras across the United States. And it's a mad, mad dash to leave Michigan because the film industry's closing, and you got one last chance to be in a Sam Raimi movie in California. And it would have Ellen Sandweiss, Danny Hicks, everyone quitting their jobs and moving to California. And Sam films the whole torturous event from the air, from gas stations, what have you. And it's called Fake Shemps of Hollywood. That came from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. He definitely comedy background with me. Horror, I really didn't get into the horror genre until Sam Raimi pulled us into it. We did Night Crew, and Within the Woods, and that's when I was still in college. And that's where I first got interested in the horror type movies. But definitely the camp and the comedy background, I'm all about that. I think it's genius. You can make somebody laugh, you've done it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, don't be a stranger. Feel free to call me anytime, and we'll do a follow up with you, and I'll keep you informed on all the stuff coming up. Because Halloween, of course, for all of us is a wild time. In fact, they're bringing me back to Detroit to do this Count Ghastly. I'm doing it's a Halloween, the week before Halloween. It's called Zombie Prom in Detroit, and I'm playing
Awesome.
that character, Count Ghastly, and so hopefully we'll have a fun Halloween, my favorite holiday of the year.
Mine
But
too.
don't be a stranger.
I
Call me
definitely
anytime, my
won't.
friend. Okay.
Definitely, definitely.
All right.
All right. Thank you for coming to swim in the bowl with me.
You got it. And we'll see you guys at the movies. All right, buddy. Thank you, and
Awesome.
I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks again.
All right. You take care, my friend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.